and welcome to another episode of Conversation with a Chef. I'm Jo Ritty and I love sharing with you the conversations I get to have with talented and passionate chefs. It's the backstory, if you will, to the food they're putting up. I begin today by acknowledging the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Kulin Nation, traditional custodians of the unceded land where this conversation takes place, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I visited Spaghetti Club just as everything was arriving. There were boxes everywhere, glasses and pots were still all wrapped up. There was that slightly frantic but very exciting feeling of something about to begin. It already felt warm and full of personality, even mid-unpacking. I sat down with head chef Michael Flemming to talk about what's taking shape here, cooking over fire, handmade pasta, Italian family rituals, and the road that's brought him to this opening. This is a conversation about food, internal pressure, leadership, as well as about trying to recreate the feeling of sitting around Nonno and Nonna's table on a Monday night. Michael told me this was the first time he'd done a chat like this, and I think you'll agree, he's an absolute natural, easy, generous, and with a great radio voice to match. Hi Mike, it's really great to be here surrounded by unpacking.
Yes. All of our deliveries have come in, so it's a bit hectic around Spaghetti Club at the moment.
But it must be quite exciting when things finally start seeming a bit more real. You've got all the pots and the crockery and the glasses and...
Yes. Last week this place was dramatically different, and I was a bit worried we weren't going to get there in time, but when everything was delivered yesterday, it was I was like a kid in a candy shop.
Yeah. Well, it looks really beautiful, and we were just saying that I came here when it was clay, and it's totally different. So can you talk me through what has happened? Even the kitchen looks...
Yes,
so, was the kitchen somewhere else?
The kitchen was here when we took it over, but Ty, the owner of Mama's Dining Group, has a very good, keen eye for organising and making restaurants look beautiful, and so he redesigned this whole thing with Lucas, who's also a CEO at Mama's Dining Group. And I think the vision was very much Nonna's house from when Lucas was growing up. So marble bench tops and lots of wood and lots of shelving with nice decorations, which aren't in yet, but they will be in next week.
And the lamp shade or the light fittings, that looks very Nonna as well.
Yeah, very old school Italian, I think, is the vibe, which is great.
No, I love it, and really beautiful looking booth seating with that really lovely mustard kind of yellow. It's retro, but it's so beautiful. It's beautifully done with all that wood as well, isn't it?
Yeah, very much Italian disco sort of vibes.
Nice. And is this the first time you've opened a place?
No, it's not. I've opened a few venues.
Yeah.
I actually helped Talina Menzies open the Gardner Hotel in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And I'd opened a restaurant in a town called Toowoomba in Queensland called Chard.
Okay.
So third time, and it doesn't get any easier.
Yeah, so at what point do you come in when you're going to be the first chef? Like, what do you... when do you start, and what does that involve for you?
Well, I started 3 weeks ago with the group, and pretty much just hit the ground running, organising suppliers, writing menus, hiring staff, talking with builders a lot at the moment, sort of reorganising the kitchen lines, and pretty much everything to do with the food side I've kind of taken over and run with. I'm not sure if that's the norm, but I'm a very hard worker and like to have my finger in all of the pies when it comes to the kitchen. So yeah.
And so Lucas, one of the owners, is it?
Yes.
He's got a Sicilian background.
Yeah.
And so, did you have free range of the menu, or were there suggestions for what you might go with?
No, so Lucas was very involved. Sorry, not Sicilian, Calabrian. I better get that right.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Lucas was very involved because the idea of this restaurant was a nod to when he would go to his Nonna's house with his family, which they do every Monday, and his Nonna, who used to be a chef, would pull out his cookbook and create dishes from there for the whole family to sort of eat at. So he's had a big input on the food side of things. The recipes and everything are mine, but the dishes themselves really come from what he was eating when he was growing up.
So that's really interesting. So he's told you about those dishes and then you've put the recipes together.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm lucky enough that his sister that's taken over from his Nonna is going to come in and talk me through sort of how they made their dishes and their family recipes without sharing too much, unfortunately, but that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be a touch to him, and I hope that when this opens, he really sees what he had as a kid sort of in this restaurant.
And I've seen in some articles that they're talking about handmade pasta and cooking over flame.
Yes.
So that's exciting because you love a bit of cooking over flame, don't you?
Yeah, I do. So we've invested heavily in a pasta extruding machine so that we can make all our own pastas in-house. I actually have an Italian pastry chef. She's just come over from Italy 3 weeks ago. She's going to come on board and take over our pasta and bread programs here at the restaurant. And then fire is my love. I grew up cooking barbecues, and I spent a year working at Arcade in South Australia under Jake Kelly. Learned a lot about cooking with just fire, and so now I like to implement that in my food wherever I can.
Yeah. How your arms? Are they?
They're fine now because I'm no longer a CDP or a commie chef. But when I was at Arcade, they were pretty charred.
Yeah, and it's just, it seems like cooking over fire is the start for humans, wasn't it? But it's such a process, and you really have to learn it, and keeping the heat.
Yeah, it's definitely something that doesn't just come naturally to people. Learning about different types of wood and how to kind of keep the heat with using wood versus charcoal, whereas charcoal will stay hot for a longer. Wood kind of dies out if you don't look after it and baby it, almost like a child. Yeah,
and what wood do you like to use?
Red gum is predominantly what we use. It all comes, I've got a guy that's supplying us wood. He grows it all on his own farm. Cuts it himself, breaks it down and delivers it. So trying to stay as local as possible. Unfortunately, it's a pretty expensive commodity to use in a restaurant.
Yeah.
But, I think that smoke brings a new thing to food that a lot of people should sort of explore as much as they can.
So that's not just for meat and fish, you would also use it for other things?
Yeah, so things like pickles. I'm going to do pickled chilies, so they'll get charred over the fire and then pickled, so that brings a nice smoky flavour. Our focaccias will get finished in a little smoke oven that we've got next to the grill to give them a bit more smoke as well. And pretty much anywhere I can use it to add a different dimension to the food, I'm going to add it in.
Yeah. That's so good, and it will smell so good in here as well.
Yeah, it definitely will. Unfortunately, the exhaust system we have can be a bit loud. So we're working that out at the moment so that when we open it's not too loud and distracting for everybody.
Oh, it's just to turn up the Italian disco.
Yeah, exactly.
And then people will be able to see it because that's it over there, is it?
Yeah.
And you've got the whole, what's the proper, I'm going to say pulley system, but the lower than...
Yeah, so it is an elevation grill.
Yeah, right.
Or an Argentinian grill, as some people would call it. It has a big cable system so we can move it up and down depending on how much heat we need.
Yeah. How much wood do you go through in a night when you're cooking like that?
I think I worked it out last week. On a busy week, we'll go through about 1.5 tons of wood.
Where's your wood pile?
Yes, we have a wood shed out the back that we're actually we're going to have to build so that we can store it and keep it out of the rain. But there's also a little wood section underneath the grill, which is nice.
Yeah. Okay. Goodness. I was just talking to someone the other day too about who was that, and they were saying about maybe it was David Lucky at Little Black Pig and Sons, and he was talking about cooking things in the embers as well, and how once it's died down, like you can leave things in overnight, and it gives another element to the food as well. Yeah, the good thing is we've got a smoker oven attached to the grill, so we can fill that with coals overnight.
and use it as a slow cooking method for, like, we have lamb shoulder on the menu, so it's something that we'll do with lamb shoulder or ragouts, for instance. So it'll keep it at a nice cold temperature and also implement smoke into everything.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've done quite a bit of Italian cooking. At what point did that come into your career?
Well, I actually grew up in a town called Myrtleford, which is in Victoria. Myrtleford, much like Griffith, there's a lot of Calabrians there, so I grew up around Italian food and Italian culture and everything like that. And where I did my apprenticeship, there was a lot of nods to Italian sort of food. But I really fell in love with it when I worked for Mike Eggett at Toddy's in Bondi. Being put on the bread section was pretty cool there, and the pastas as well, and just sort of how much attention to detail there was in the food and how much culture and years of other people sort of teaching one another. I really loved that whole idea of Italian food, so I tried to stick to that as much as possible from then, with some variations. Like Arke is very much modern Australian, I guess you would say, but with nods to Middle Eastern cooking and Asian cuisine. But apart from that, I've tried to stay with Italian.
So you don't want to give away too much about the menu here, but
No, not yet.
so I'll just have to. I'm coming to the opening night. I'm so excited, and so I'll just have to post then and link it to this conversation so people can know. But I guess the experience that you're going for, I did read in the press release that it's a lot of communal dining and shared plates, and it is really recreating that Monday night at Nonno.
Exactly. We want people to come in here with big groups and want to try everything off the menu. Everything on there is designed to be shared between people, the pastas especially, and also larger sort of proteins. And then the snacks are just going to be great little Italian snacks that everybody's going to enjoy, so hopefully they purchase a lot of them.
So will there be a big table down the middle, or?
There's going to be 4 smaller tables down the middle, but we can attach them to make bigger sections. There's also going to be chairs all along the bar, so people can actually watch the chefs cooking and plating everything, so it's going to be nice.
You've been in open kitchens before?
Yeah, Arke was an open kitchen, so that was fun. And Toddy's as well, the antipasti section is in the dining room.
So you've become good at managing
emotions. Cleanliness, no swearing, no yelling. Yeah, all things you've got to remember in open kitchens.
Yeah, and I guess with your team too, it's almost like you've got to work out the choreography of moving around each other too, don't you? And
I mean, I've been fortunate enough to work in some pretty well-designed kitchens, and I think that this kitchen will flow very well during service. And then an added bonus, or theatrics, I guess, is that dockets will be called and all the chefs will respond at once, which is something that I always found enjoyable when I would go to a restaurant and I would hear that.
So there's going to be like a yes chef?
It'll be we.
Oh, we?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so when you said before that you can say we in French.
That's the only
That works.
French.
Oh, my God. I can't wait to come in for that. That's cool. It's a bit very the bear, isn't it, as well?
Yeah, a little.
Hopefully not, actually. Not the dockets pouring out everyone and losing it.
Yeah.
Where did it all start for you? Did you always know that you wanted to be a chef?
No, actually. Funnily enough, I wanted to be an artist when I was younger. I left school and did an art diploma.
What sort of art?
Drawings, mostly.
Wow.
Was what I was into as a child. And I kind of fell into being a chef. It was something I always kind of thought about. But a job ad came up one day for an apprentice chef for somebody that was pretty well known in Albury-Wodonga. And I just decided to give it a go, and she hired me, and then that was 14 and a half years ago, and I haven't looked back.
Yeah. What do you like about it?
I like the pressure of cooking, which is a weird thing to say, but I think if you ask most chefs, if they say they don't enjoy the adrenaline rush we get from this, then they'd just be lying, because if you don't, then you're not going to be a chef for very long. I love feeding people. I guess that's sort of something, when I grew up with all the Italian nonnas, they would feed you constantly, and that's really stuck with me. Staff meal is very important to me because I want all of the staff to be fed. So it's those kind of things that can really keep me going, and just creating dishes as well. I'm my own biggest critic, but when I create something that I think is really delicious, it really makes me happy.
Yeah. How do you work through, because everyone's so vocal these days and everyone's a critic. How do you look at reviews and read comments?
I do look at reviews, and for a very long time I looked at reviews negatively, but a good mentor of mine really instilled in me that reviews are just criticisms, constructive criticisms 90% of the time, and you need to take it on board. And at the end of the day, without customers, we don't have jobs.
Yeah.
So if they're not happy, then we're not really doing a good enough sort of job. So although it hurts sometimes, the things that people say, I really take it on board and make adjustments where we think we need to, and kind of move on.
But you must have to filter that as well, because I think not all of it, I don't think you can take all of that onto yourself, because some people are comparing it to something they've had, somewhere else, or a different kind of thing, or they've had a bad day, and I don't know, I feel like...
Yeah. there is some reviews that aren't very well thought out, but you just take it with a grain of salt. If you need to change something to make the business better as a whole, then you just do that. Otherwise, you just apologise and ask if you can do something for them. But most of the time people leave reviews after they've already eaten, and it's on Google and you can't contact them. So
yeah, that's exactly right. I wonder. Yeah, that's just a shame that happens rather than them talking to someone in that moment.
Yeah. The worst thing for me is customers leaving unhappy, and so if somebody's not happy, I'd prefer them to say something, and then I can fix it, or I can offer them something else. I'd rather people leave the restaurant extremely happy, or at least better than what they were when they had the bad experience, because that just kind of builds into them then going to their friends and saying, don't go to this place, we had a bad experience, and there's not really anything you can do once they've left.
No, that's right. And it's not always based on reality. That's
Unfortunately.
That's right. So it sounds like you've got a really good sense of hospitality and the diners, and then you also mentioned this idea of the team all being together and saying we and so on, which I love. How would you describe? Was it easy for you stepping into that leadership role of head chef, or did you have to think about what you would be like as a head chef, or did it come quite naturally?
I think that most chefs have growing pains. Like, I still remember my first head chef job, and looking back on it now, I did a terrible job. But I grew from that, and I was lucky enough to have some really good mentors that have ran kitchens for many years, and kind of take little pieces of each of them and put that into my management style. I love teaching young chefs, and so my style is very much teaching rather than scolding, like most chefs, unfortunately. Because I remember as an apprentice getting yelled at, I didn't really retain the information that I was getting yelled at about. So I would prefer to have a conversation and just say, hey, this is what you've done wrong, this is how we can fix it, and sort of move on from there. It also makes it easier as a manager if people want to work for you. There's nothing worse than having to hire new staff, and if you're not a great person to work for, unfortunately, they're not going to stick around.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah. And was it important for you to move to other cities to cook?
Yeah, it definitely was. Where I grew up, you kind of plateau when it comes to food. It is country Australia, so palmies and chips are kind of the way of the world down there. And I really wanted to experience different foods and meet people from different countries. So going to Sydney and Brisbane and Adelaide and now Melbourne was pretty key to me and my career and my progression.
Yeah. It's been great being in Adelaide, was it?
Yeah, it was. I loved living in Adelaide. Unfortunately, my family are all still in country Victoria, so it was a bit difficult to see them. And my wife's family also are from there, and so we made the hard decision a couple of years ago that we'd move to Melbourne because she still gets to do her job, and I still get to work in great hospitality, and it's just a bit closer.
Yeah. I'd never been to Adelaide before. Obviously, from my accent, I'm from New Zealand, and but I've been here for 15 years. But I went last year and stayed in the Adelaide Hills, and I just thought how rich it was in so much good food and produce.
Yeah.
I mean, we equally in Victoria have great produce and great suppliers and things as well. But yeah, I was just like, but it's just such a little pocket, and it's so rich.
Yeah, it was great. It was a bit of a shock when I went there. A lot of people I'd spoken to said it was very, very country, but I think that Adelaide as a hospitality sort of scene has very much grown over the last 6 years. And I used to love it. There was so many places to go and eat that, from anywhere from the best restaurant in Australia to really good Chinese takeaway. So it was nice to kind of go around and explore and go to Handorf, which is in the Adelaide Hills, a little German town.
So cute, isn't it? Someone said to me, don't go there, it's too cheesy and whatever. I loved it. I thought it was so cute.
My wife there's a shop halfway down the main street that's got a sign that says you can leave your husband here while you shop. And she used to love sending me in there. It's like you could do whiskey tastings, and they had a bunch of little toys and stuff on display. All things guys love.
Yeah, I think I saw that one, and it had lots of really interesting clocks and things, and lots of gadgets to look at. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're onto it. They know how to get people shopping.
Yeah, definitely.
And what are you most looking forward to about opening at Spaghetti Club?
Opening. I think I love cooking and all of the back of house stuff. Unfortunately, I have to do, but I'm really looking forward to having the restaurant full and listening to the music and hearing all the customers speaking, and that's really what I'm very excited for. I'm sure that'll change after the first night, as most first nights are, but at the moment, that's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah. And just to finish with, Mike, what would your advice be to a young person starting out as a chef?
Learn as much as you can. Travel. If you get the chance to go overseas and sort of learn over there, definitely do that. Don't take to heart the downsides of hospitality, because they're not everywhere. And at the end of the day, it's just going to help you grow.
Thank you.
No problem at all.
I can't wait to come in when you're open.
Yes, you definitely will have to.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Conversation with a Chef with Michael Flemming at the soon-to-be-opened Spaghetti Club in Richmond. You can check out all the goodness on Instagram at Spaghetti Club Melbourne. That's all one word. And if you'd like to hear more stories from other chefs, I'm also on Instagram at Conversation with a Chef. That's also one big long word. You can read this chat online at www.conversationwithachef.com, and of course you can follow me on Apple and Spotify podcasts. I'd absolutely love it if you told a friend about my chats. I still think it's the best way to get these delicious stories out into the world. Once again, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day and bon appetit.